to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series. We're having a lot of fun here. Just chilling out, hanging, watching some Hearthstone, and hopefully you guys are doing the same exact too. So let us know at ESL Hearthstone or at AzumoQT at Frodan on Twitter. Coming up on stream is one of my favorite matches of the day. Not for the reasons that people conventionally know, but because I think it's a very good representative of the past and the present. Once upon a time, when Hearthstone first began, Savjz was a player who no one really knew about. He came from like a poker background. He played Warcraft 3 really competitively, and he just played a crap ton of Hearthstone, just 20 hours a day, super grinding, learning all the ins and outs. And then he just eventually got invited to a few King of the Hills, and then he started winning it consistently. Started winning some opens. Went to OGN, won that invitational as well, and just started compounding his success. And even somewhere in the middle of last summer, he entered another open tournament, even though there were invites to it, and won that thing as well. So he's a guy that shows how the journey is from Hearthstone if you're able to dedicate yourself and be really good. And we have a guy that's going up against him that we don't know anything about. He's the most unknown player of today, and yet maybe he can make Savjz one of his trophies on the wall on his path to become a well-known player in Hearthstone.
Yeah, LonelyLink, he made it all the way through the open bracket. We saw him compete yesterday in the Challenger Finals, and he actually took out Reynad for his qualifying match to make it to today.
Yeah, or it would have been Reynad versus Savjz.
Or it would have been Reynad versus Savjz. So it's I'm looking forward to this matchup. LonelyLink, I think, had the most decisive victories of yesterday. It seemed like he just played
3-1, 3-0.
Extremely solid all around. And so this is going to be a good series, I think.
Before we go, we want to also update you on the standings to get you to check in on how things have progressed. We always say that we're in Week 8. And, well, we had a lot of points distributed out. In the end, Pimping Ho, a player who placed second last week and ended up getting enough points to qualify, has opted to abstain from this week. We invited Firebat instead, but unfortunately Firebat has been eliminated by Tice. Now we have 4 players who also stand tied for second place. We only can take 3 of those members to land because we have 4 members from the points category. So Max, Chalky, Sandstorm, and Waifu will be playing a mini bracket tomorrow to determine who's going to be going. And it really stinks because it's basically a 4-man group stage, and if you're 4th place, you don't come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit heartbreaking, but at the same time, those guys have been pretty impressive. Just to be high up in points means that they've placed really well for usually at least 2 weeks. So all of those guys made it back and made it through the open stage and got a lot of points. So really impressive stuff from them either way, and I'm looking forward to see any of those 3 make it. And on your screen there you see the match plate for the next matchup, LonelyLink versus Savjz.
I do want to point something out, that the diversity that we've seen in this past week of Hearthstone specifically is actually really encouraging.
It's incredible, I think.
Yeah. We're starting to see 5 classes that are unique to the matchup and maybe 1 repeat. And it's not even Warlock. Usually Warlock's the class that repeats, but people are starting to wean away from it, and I like that. It's just it's so good to see the metagame to have all different kinds of styles. You're not really sure what's going to be coming. Paladin versus Priest is a cool matchup. Handlock versus Fatigue Mage, because I'm 99% sure Savjz is going to bring Fatigue Mage. He told me that he thinks it's the best deck in the game, or he thinks it's a really important staple, and it's so good.
He brought it last week. He's actually here this week because of his placing last week, and he's been streaming it a lot. And the first matchup is a little rough, and this is the only Priest that we're going to see today. The class breakdown just shows you right away what it is. I have right here 6 mages, that's the most. 4 of Druid, Paladin, and Warlock, so very even. And then 2 Hunter, 1 Warrior, 1 Priest, 1 Shaman, and then no Rogues. So the only class not being represented is Rogue. Last week we had everything because Hype was here.
More often.
Yeah, just to give some more diversity.
Always play the Rogue.
Yeah.
You know, Dark Wanix also posted that he got number 2 Legend with Rogue too. So it's definitely viable out there. I think people have not settled on what they feel like is the best Rogue deck, but who knows? Maybe I'm actually pretty sure by land time for the offline finals we'll probably see a Rogue. Has to be a good deck. That's one of the few classes that people still haven't figured out the true innovation yet.
Magic Amy plays some Rogue. She hasn't brought it very much, but when she was first...
She actually loves Miracle Rogue a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, what a start from LonelyLink, by the way.
Yeah.
He's got the Noirshire Cleric into the Injured Blade Master combination. Savjz does have an answer to it, though.
I'd say Priest is one of the harder matchups for Paladin to overcome. Because they can stall a lot of the pressure that you put out early on.
Yep.
And make it really problematic for you to continue to pile on pressure as the game goes on. And especially like Northshire Cleric stops you from using your hero power, which a lot of classes that Paladin plays against, they rely on getting a lot of value out of the hero power early on. Or even later in the game to make the opponent use cards to trade against your hero power, which doesn't cost you any cards. Priest, it's hard to do that.
Well, Savjz, not happy to see his opponent drawing cards, but he can draw some cards of his own. And what will happen is, you know, his opponent will be forcing him to draw 2 cards, but then Priest can start drawing a lot of cards too. In fact, Priest can draw 3 to 4 cards next turn, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah. You have to be pretty conservative with your circle, I think, in this matchup, but that's just way too much value to pass up. I think so.
You can even draw 5 cards.
Yeah.
You'd heal the Acolyte too, which I don't think you'd be super happy with that.
I think.
Oh man.
3
He
cards
just made
is
the trade for you as well.
Yeah.
Now you attack the shielded mini bot and then you heal for 3.
Yeah. This is again a separate case, but most of the time I'd be.
But then what happens is you can use the Acolyte to draw cards off the what's it called? The other Peacekeeper.
Mm-hmm. You're not too worried about pressure. You're worried about card advantage, but the Acolyte helps. But you're not too worried about pressure because priests aren't going to kill you outright. You can always draw into Quality Consecrate to swing the game, or Quality in general.
That's a lot of cards.
Yeah.
Priest getting a large advantage like this is really tough.
Scented Shieldmaster is not a card that see often in at least mid-range Paladin. This might, well,
Yeah, that's a good point.
it might be more control style of Paladin.
Well, it's just a good replacement instead of Pilot Shredders.
It deals with Paladin Shredders well.
Right. A 3/5 body is a natural predator to the Pilot Shredder.
Yeah.
The thing about Senjin too is that it's more consistent because the Pilot Shredder is a little bit hard and unreliable sometimes, especially against like Zoo and whatnot.
Yeah. There's sometimes where you just get a 1/1, and then in most cases you end up wanting the Senjin anyway.
I mean, LonelyLink's the only guy to play Priest, but he's also getting just ridiculous draws. Like, he's getting all, every single Northshire Cleric, and he's getting the combination. Like, when he played Priest in this previous day, I remember him also having a similar start where it was just like, it was pretty nuts.
Where he like ended the game on like turn 8 as a Priest, which is absurd. I mean, Death Rattle Priest is like the only Priest that can do that. But even Death Rattle Priest, that's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, just Undertaker can grow a little bit. Just through the Sludge Belcher.
He can grow next turn as well. With the second Sludge Belcher or Sylvanas, but Cabal Shadow Priest is a pretty fantastic card against Paladin. There's a lot of targets.
Well, not necessarily next turn. There's only going to be a 1/1 available.
Yeah. I'm saying on turn 6 in general in this matchup. Like shielded mini bot, even if you just take a hero power token, in a lot of matchups, sometimes you just end up playing it. Just a bare naked Cabal, just out in the wild.
Sounds hot.
Yeah, totally. Awkward turn.
Well, Senjin pretty much just gets run over, right?
So does Harrison Jones, though.
Harrison Jones at least contests whatever runs into it, it'll kill.
Yeah.
Senjin will like weaken everything just enough that like just Holy Novas or like some other thing. It's not really that strong. But you do get to squeeze in the hero power with the Senjin Shieldmaster.
Just neither play feels right.
Yeah, with Harrison though, I like that it really does challenge everything. The only thing about Harrison is somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm convinced the moment I play Harrison Jones, they thought steal a true server champion. I kid you not. This is like exactly what happens every single time. I'm like, well, you know, there's never Harrison Jones in this matchup, and then it's like a scenario pops up where I needed it.
Turn 7. Bam.
Yeah.
Thought steal. Bam. True Silver Champion. Bam. Kills your Harrison.
Right. You know, bam, I kill myself.
Whoa. That escalated too fast.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to spend a day in my mind, bro.
Yeah, thinking about Tiger Moms all day.
Good for you. Good for you. You're welcome. Like, Savjz just is going to be struggling to fight back on board for a while here.
He's gonna need an equality or.
I think as a priest you care so much more about the board than you care about rushing the paladin. So I'd rather kill off the 1/1. Yeah, I definitely would rather kill off the Silverhand recruit. What's the rush? You know, this game is gonna last for another 4 turns, maybe 3 or 4 turns
really
at
is.
the latest.
Really is no rush. I can also steal boombots with Cabal.
Yeah, that's one of the more useful things to steal for sure.
Yeah.
Boombots is Savjz's way to try to fight back onto the board, but one of them will get stolen. More importantly, though, how does he deal with Dr. Boom? There's actually very few efficient ways to do it. There's a lot of bodies.
Yeah. I
that
mean,
have
there's
a small attack.
there's not too. I don't think there's that too much of a rush to really deal with it. I mean,
Yeah, maybe you just Dark Cultist and buff more.
Yeah.
And Loot Hoarder. Oh my gosh. Undertaker.
Because now you're making Undertakers bigger. You're giving more fodder to throw
So
into the.
like, they're on the Skype call with each other, so they're like laugh. Like Savjz is like laughing because like at this point it's just ridiculous how big that these boombots have gotten.
Yeah. Good heads up call to go ahead and heal before he clears the second boombot.
Wow. Oh, I was not expecting to trade into Dr. Boom. I think Savjz is really happy about that, actually.
Yeah, potentially he could have got those Undertakers out of range, but he didn't have the death rattles. I mean, he could have like Sylvana Shadow or Power Word Shield the next turn to bring one of them out of range, but
sure.
Oh, the Paladin Sky Golem.
Yeah. I think he's hoping that at one point Priest starts rushing him, and then he can like get value off of Kel'Thuzad.
Doesn't seem like LonelyLink's going to do that though. He
No.
seems to be playing very patiently and
yeah, very board centric.
yeah, making every trade that he possibly can. Making the trades how he wants to.
What does Sky Golem usually get
For me,
on average, like the average stats? Do you know? I want to say it's like an average of 8 stats.
Yeah.
Like a 4/4 is pretty common.
Yeah. 9 stats I think would probably be above average. Because he'd be like a
No
Brewmaster
way.
or a Yeti.
That is really funny. I really hope Savjz draws like lay on hands and just nuke something for 8. That is actually really funny. True Silver Champion does 2 damage.
It
to
does.
himself.
That's crazy. Plus the damage that he would take from whatever he attacks.
Right.
But True Silver Champion.
Wow,
with
he's
no
like killing
healing.
everything for him so that like True Silver gets full value.
And he's that Undertaker could become problematic.
Is he not gonna buff the Undertaker? So True Silver Champion just wipes the Undertaker. Oh man, that definitely feels like a wasted opportunity in a way, because it's like the Undertaker, it had so much to live for.
He worked so hard and traded.
He got
so
straight
much.
A's.
Maybe it's Savjz just thinking.
Never smoked a joint in his life.
Yeah.
He's like captain of the football team, and he dies to a True Silver. That's not right. It's not right, man. I'm gonna write a play about this.
Okay.
Have your mom act it.
She's probably watching at home.
She's like, why does that man know so much about my life?
Oh, my mom knows everything about your life, Dan.
What? No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does. It's very adamant
TJ's
about
mother's
trading.
a stage actress, by the way. Very talented one.
Thank you. She's not too big for 4 mech warpers to even.
That
That was really hurtful, Dan.
Sorry.
Very hurtful.
That was before you told me more about her, who she was.
I actually broke down and cried after
I
the
was
last
out
series.
of line. I was definitely out of line.
And Frodan comforted me with friendly words.
So so Savjz is gonna try and utilize like the board position and leverage it, so that way his opponent feels like he has to clear it. He's saying, "I hope you don't have AOE." And he does, but it comes at the cost of killing off his own. So I think Savjz is okay with that.
But getting the muster for battle out of the way before, like, I guess it doesn't really matter because he would have the circle of healing.
Well, I mean,
regardless.
I don't think he's okay with
Oh,
Dr.
no.
Boom coming up on the other end. But he does have Big Game Hunter.
And this might be, well, he decides not to throw the loot hoarder out. Maybe to play around my control
Yeah,
tech.
exactly.
And
No, that was
whoa!
definitely a play around my control tech. Okay, 3 damage.
That's interesting because the entire game before that, he had no
Right.
fear of playing around it. But, I mean, he didn't really have minions of high value. Like, he doesn't want to, especially with the card advantage that he has right now, he doesn't want to give Savjz, like, a loot hoarder.
Sure. Makes sense.
Or even a Dr. Boom, that'd be really big.
Oof. 4 damage. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Savjz needs healing of some kind.
And cards, so that hands would be pretty good, but he might.
Well, he's not gonna die, but the thing is, playing like Hearthvods is just gonna get mind controlled.
Yeah.
So the way that he can come back is if he kills off something, Hearthvods, his opponent mind controls, and then he like equality consecrates, and like that's how he gets back on the board.
Seems really unlikely.
Seems very, very unlikely.
You could tell by his facial expression that he's just pretty unhappy.
Yeah, he's just too low health. You know, look how he's able to fight to some relevance in the card count. Like this entire game, LonelyLink got so far ahead in the cards that like Savjz has just equalized. 6 cards remain to 13. He had to fight from a 7-card deficit to the point where he's like almost equal. It's just he ran out of time. Like
Yeah.
Priest just does too much. Sitting on too many legendary and late game cards.
Yeah, I mean, and in a way, it's just that's what comes from the card advantage. You can get bigger leads, and even as a priest, you can force your opponent in a situation where it will become too late. And
Alright.
that's game.
Yeah, that will be
Shadow
game because the mind
Madness.
control tech can get Shadow Madness. And that's going to wrap up game number 1. So LonelyLink ends up getting a really strong early game lead and just never lets it go. And that will mean Savjz has to win Handlock versus the Fatigue Mage, which is a matchup that Link definitely knows how to play.
Yeah.
He beat Reynad pretty convincingly last time against Fatigue Mage, and he played a very strong line. So overall, I think he's in a really good position for the series.
Yeah, players have come to realize the key to beating Fatigue Mage as Handlock is just getting out a really early Jiraxis. Either cornering it out on turn 8 or just playing it as soon as it becomes turn 9. It just makes it so you're putting consistent damage every turn, and you're also putting out a 6/6 every turn, which eventually, it's hard to do, but eventually the Fatigue Mage will run out of ways